Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in from. You're very welcome to another loyal episode of Red Room. And I say loyal because first and foremost, I want to thank my panel today. I feel as though I need to thank you guys for being such amazing, loyal, strong, persistent Liverpool fans. Unlike the team, unlike the players, unlike the rest of Liverpool, for hanging in there. You guys are amazing, and I know it's not always easy. It's always easy, and shout out to all the lads and lasses that come on when we're winning, and it's always easy to sing when you're winning. But it's a mighty hard task when you've seen what we've seen this season, and you still come on. Michael, how are we, man? Come to you first. Hope you're doing very well. I actually thought that's one of those new brand Liverpool tops, but you've told me otherwise.
I know. It's bright red.
I'll let you break it to the nations across the world what top that is actually from.
It's Pizza Planet, which is the pizza company in Toy Story. That's what happens when you have a Disney mad wife.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm okay, Grizz. Thank you very much. Apart from the inevitable, which was Wolves v Liverpool. Oh, where do you start?
Yeah, we're going to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I know your day started somewhere, Mo. Ended up back in good old Wales, and then you decided to put on a Bangladeshi cricket team to really just get away from as far as you can from anything to do with Liverpool. How are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm just tired. That travel took it out of me yesterday. It was like a 3.5 hour drive up to up to Wolverhampton, rush hour Wolverhampton as well. And after that kind of defeat, the drive home is just an angry drive. You know, I'm sure I'm going to get some speeding tickets in the post because I just put my foot down. I just wanted to get home, and yeah, I'm sure we're going to chop it all up, but I'm not happy. I'll vent in a minute. I'm sure I'll use this hour for therapy for myself.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're here. Honestly, Red Room family, big up you guys every time. We need to talk. I always feel like last night, Lola, I just done 2 tweets from the start of the game, and normally is always I love interacting with my followers during the game with the different emotions and incidents and situations. But I was at that phase where I done a wake up at halftime, and then at the end I said, "Everyone, fuck off!" Basically, I'm going to bed. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah, are you still as tired as you were at
Yes.
the end?
Yeah,
I'm tired too. I'm tired too. I was on the post-match show with Jack, and it definitely felt like I could have talked until the next day, because you know when you're in a situation where you're just so angry, and I feel like it's not really my personal feelings are not necessarily relevant to the team, but they've made me look a fool. They have made me look a fool on more than one occasion this season. I come out here, and I say words like defiance and talk about corners turned. And what they showed to me last night was that they very much have not turned a corner. And I don't think that was a performance befitting our great football club. So I'm both very tired and very frustrated.
Yeah, Evening Red says Anfield Index says 2TV says here from the main account. Evening Reds, if you're new to Anfield Index, drop a subscribe and smash a like button. The numbers are building up very nicely. Always good to see a healthy crowd in here. Love you and respect you all. Got some comments to go through already. Robbie says the season is over. Just need to knock us out of the FA Cup and Champions League to end the pain. Chris says my fellow South Wales Mo. Okay, do we know each other, or is he just?
Don't know, but shout out to Chrissy boy. Put my fee in the post for that shout out.
Danny says evening people. Evening, Danny. DB says sack him. The players clearly not responding to him. We need a new voice in that dressing room. Alex says I get up every morning to look at my phone if Slot has been sacked. Oh God, Michael. There's gonna be words like, when do we turn the corner? I mean, I don't know. I'm very frustrated that I haven't got about 5,000 likes on my last tweet because I thought it was quite good. I said in a season where corners are being mentioned so much. When will we turn ours?
Oh, that's good. I like that. Oh,
There's
yeah.
minimum 5,000 likes, people. There's minimum 5,000 likes.
At least. and a little medal. No, I have to be honest, I caught some of Lola on the post-match match last night, Lola, which was excellent. And I completely agree with there's 2 points that Lola made brilliantly that I think completely sums it up. Why have we no energy? We're running out of puff. And the other bit that really sums it up, and I was nodding my head in agreement. What's the Liverpool identity? That was the bit, Lola, like right on the button. And it's like we've got past the apathy and the frustration. And if you're going to play like that, the anger is going to build. And sooner or later, that'll be the turn in the corner where it becomes more and more people are fed up listening to excuses or moans, or something has to change. Just beyond frustration now.
Beyond frustration, Mo, we've discussed the whole season pretty much on a weekly basis and in WhatsApp groups and everything else, and the same words ring in my ears. I don't know about you. And one of the main words that I'll use against Liverpool is two words, or is it one word? I'm sure you guys will tell me. Self-inflicted. That's one word.
With a high
self-inflicted. Everything is self-inflicted. Very rarely, and it has happened, but very rarely a team has smashed us. It's almost certainly always self-inflicted, Mo.
Yeah, but why is it self-inflicted? I would ask myself. Yes, I agree with you. Most of our goals are mistakes, and yesterday was another mistake. Whether you pin it on Curtis Jones, you should have dealt with it the first time round in the corner, or a bad pass from Curtis Jones to Ali, or Ali's kick, which was terrible out. So a combination of things. But again, another mistake that led to us conceding. But I always ask myself why. And I mean, these are the same players that more or less won us the league last year at Akansa. And we know, we've been told so many times in presses that they've been told to slow it down and go for this possession style football, which is great if it works. And the only time it will work if you move the ball quickly. And we just don't do it. We are one of the most boring teams to watch. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry. I might get, arrows thrown at me, but we are very boring. Even yesterday, the crowd was flat. I love going away games because the away game fans are, proper jumpy singing. It was flat yesterday. We were all kind of expecting it, or thinking in our heads. Well, I was kind of thinking, one of these games, these bad performances that we keep doing and grinding out wins, one of these games are going to bite us in the ass, So if we put another bad performance out and think we're going to get away with a victory, we're going to, and lo and behold, we put another bad performance out. And that's the worrying thing. There's no sign of it changing, If someone could tell me but we did this, we did that, fine, but we didn't create any chances. We seem like a team who's uber dependent on Wirtz now, to create things for us. We've got wingers who can't beat a man. And we got fullbacks who invert. It just doesn't make sense. So I still, for me, all roads lead to the coaching and the press. There's a video going around of the Klopp pressing against Leeds at 90th minute. I'm sure you've all seen it. That's all been coached out of them now. They've been coached out of pressing. They've been taught to control games and possession, which, as you've seen, the Premier League has evolved. Doesn't win games that way all the time. So look, I can go on and on. I'm just a bit angry. I want to let loose a little bit, but I'll give everyone a fair share.
No, you let loose, son. This show is to let loose. I love it when you guys let loose. I wish I could let loose sometimes as well. But yeah, Lola, it's the week that Arne Slot spoke again in press conferences, and I've said it before. I just think he talks too much. I do actually tend to agree with majority of what he usually says. It's just that maybe he shouldn't be the one saying it. Leave that to us, maybe. I don't know, fans or media, whatever. You're the coach of Liverpool. Focus, maybe. He talked about it's not a good watch. Neither are we right now.
Yeah, he's not helping himself, is he? As someone asked me on another podcast, what does he have to do to still be in the job, in your mind, still be in the job at the start of next season? And I think they wanted me to say, win the Champions League, win the FA Cup, finish fourth, whatever. They wanted something specific. But it's actually not specific because Slot's already won the league. We can talk, till the day is done about credit in the bank. What I want to see is not coming out in press conferences and talking about long balls or corners or whatever, which is all perfectly sensible stuff to say. I want to see a style of play. And the thing is, I don't care if we scrape 5th place, but we play a brand of football that I recognise and that I see, okay, hasn't quite worked this season, but there's a long-term plan that Slot himself is a part of. So it's not about, I want Xabi Alonso because he's going to come in and fix it straight away. I just don't, the words that he says in press conferences and the team that I see going out day after day, week after week, it's not matching up, and neither is the recruitment. So I'm just feeling a bit lost at the moment. And I'm thinking, you're the guy that's won us the league. Came in, made some really smart stylistic tweaks to the way Klopp had us playing to get us to win the league. Show me that you're capable of getting this brilliantly talented group to achieve their minimum ambitions this season and set us up for next season.
We're going to go through a lot of your comments. People keep the comments chatting in. Apparently Chelsea 1-1 now. The goal was disallowed. Villa scored again. I'm sure you guys will keep us abreast of any scores. That's the way it is now. We're looking at other teams, and that's the frustrating part, Michael. We had every time we think we've turned a corner, there's a chance to capitalize. Results have gone our way. Chance to put daylight between us and other teams. I mean, I expect Man United to beat Newcastle. Newcastle are falling away very, very badly. I expect Chelsea to probably win as well. But every time we have an opportunity, it's just like we're just not capable, fit enough, strong enough, mentally, physically to take advantage. It's beyond worrying now. I mean, what do we do in the last sort of quarter of the season to make sure we get over the line? Is there anything we can do to get over the line?
I genuinely don't know. And the thing about that Lola was saying there, what would it take for me to want him to be there this season? It's quite simple. Show me that you've got a plan to cope with all the things that hasn't been right, because we're making the same mistakes. I've not seen Slot, all right, change anything. He might make the odd substitution here and there, and it looked like last night that he was trying to pretend to be Arsenal by relying on corners when we couldn't even beat the first man.
Oh, that was so frustrating. I swear to God, sorry to interrupt.
No,
I was
pulling
my hair out. How can we have so many corners and how can you be a professional footballer and not be able to beat the first man? It's beyond me.
Because that's their job. We all worship them and think what they do is amazing, but that's their actual job.
Yeah.
And it's the show me you've got a plan, Mr. Slot. Show me there's something different. When we've been talking for weeks about them not being fit enough, like the point Lola made last night in the post-match, why are they literally dead on their feet with 10 minutes to go? Because as soon as Wolves made that substitution, suddenly they went for it. We were suddenly in a game. We'd spent, 60 minutes playing walk-in football. Where's he getting this? I know how we'll win games. Walk-in football. Right. And how's that worked for you so far? We've scraped a few.
Oh, Michael, I get that. And I saw that. We all saw that.
Yeah.
But what's mind-boggling is afterwards and on the touchline, he's asking for quicker, faster progression. So what does that mean? Are the players not responding? Are the players not physically up to it? Because yesterday, guys, and we'll get into the game, we'll talk about the lineups, the players, individuals, and then we'll have a look at, yes, Wolves away again in 24 hours or so.
I think we'll win that, by the way.
Okay. I won't ask you for a prediction at the end. I know it now. You've given it away. But, I mean, You know, he's asking for quicker play. Virgil van Dijk, I saw him so many times going like this to the players. Let's move.
Maka was the same. Maka's frustration you could see on the pitch.
But I think he's one of the sources of my frustration.
The whole team confidence is shot, and that's from like
how? Why? We just won 6 out of 7.
No, but they're all, look at the way they play. They're all scared of making risky passes now. They all play the easy ball every time, and the easy ball is always a sideways ball or a backwards pass. No one wants to take a risk anymore. No one wants that responsibility. Like, you know, maybe the weight of the shirt is too heavy for them.
For who? Name some players. I need
all of them. 1 to 11. Everyone to a man was awful yesterday. Let's keep it real.
I don't agree, Mo. I think part of the problem when we talk about frustration with the manager is it's the same week after week. It's Szoboszlai running all over the pitch and you know, looking like the most dangerous creator. Van Dijk,
only person
I think he was fouled for the first Wolves goal. He's immense as always. He looks like weirdly our most likely player to play a line breaking pass at the moment. And Kirkez, fantastic as well last night. So it's the same guys week after week playing well. Ekitike, good in fits and starts, having to protect himself because he's not fit. But it's the same thing week after week, and it's the same players being let down by the other players, you know, like McAllister, who is just playing so poorly this season.
We're gonna get into the game because there's no holding back now, and I agree with you, Lola. I do think it's just 2 or 3 players that are literally carrying us through this season, trying to get us over the line. I think. Look, Michael, I'll come to you first. The team selection, did you have any qualms with it? Was there any issues? Did you anticipate this lineup? And again, we just started off so slow. I knew, and I have absolute zero experience at the highest level. My highest level of coaching is in the Barking and District League in the east of London. I used to manage a team called El Nino. We done very well, actually. I got to a cup final once, a cup final. But I could tell you that their midfield was going to really run us ragged in terms of effort, desire, tenacity, dark hearts. João Gomez and Andre, who we were linked, both midfielders that we were linked with, both could do an absolute fine job for us right now. I just knew if we get bullied and outrun by them, we're in for a night. And that's exactly what happened. Straight in the first half. Absolute no composure, no control whatsoever. And pedestrian pace.
No. The only thing I would have maybe initially changed is I might have had Robo on for that fight in that dig. But even then, that's grasping at straws. That team that was out yesterday was more or less our strongest, give or take. But there's questions. But the way you looked at it, we weren't playing to Ekitiki's strengths. Because even Gakpo, he's become so predictable. When he eventually does get a cross in, who's he crossing to? There was a couple where they were trying to put a ball across to the 6-yard box and there was no one there. I know it's not, I don't think it's connected, but we don't have a tapping merchant.
But we don't create chances that are conducive to tap-ins.
Chances, but we need, so there's so many gaps. Don't get me wrong, I think people like Jota would have thrived in the elements of where we're struggling for games, and Diaz would have been able to take on a man, but it didn't look like when they got to that final third that they had a blind clue what to do.
Mo, do you agree that with Michael's assertion that it was the front three? Because I'm blaming, apart from the back four, which I don't think played badly. I know the state of the 2 goals, and we'll get on to describing or going through the goals. I thought the back four on the whole, I thought Kanate had a very good game again on the whole. But after that, Mo, I mean, I'm going to start. Okay, I'll start naming and shaming.
Yeah, right? That's fine.
I'll start. Ryan
Gravenberg. Yeah, I'm telling you, from 6 onwards, you can count. Like I said, goalkeeper, back four. Okay, put an effort, kept us in the game.
Alisson we'll get on to.
Alisson, obviously, he's getting old and his legs probably are losing power as a kick. But from 6 onwards, awful. I'm sorry, we call it as it is. Gravenberch was so bad that he dived in, got a yellow card after the first 10 minutes. Didn't bother putting in challenges after that. Got hooked at halftime. Curtis Jones came on, offered a little bit more control, a little bit more oomph going forward. But Gravenberch has had 4 or 5 bad games in a row where McAllister has shone in the last 5 games. I've never seen a period where all 3 of our midfielders are firing all together. It's always 1 firing and 2 playing awful. Dominic Szoboszlai came out with a David Hay, R. Kelly haircut, and he backed it up with an absolute stinker. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to do these things, back yourself, innit? You know, like Slot coming out with these comments, Arsenal are boring. You can't say that and then serve up this dross to us. Come on, do you know what I mean? It's just too much talk and not enough action. So I don't know. It's just frustrating because I understand what Lola's saying, but I do. You know, the players are to blame, yes, but I put it down to the tactics. This is Wolves, 17th, bottom of the league. You tell them, look, go out from the minute 1, press them.
Why do you need to tell them? Why do you need to tell them that, Mo?
Well, because we're in a position now where people.
No. That's. I think that's rubbish. I'm sorry.
No, well, you've got to tell them.
Tell the players to go out and press and play. This is Wolves. Why the fuck do you need to tell Mo, Virgil?
Because they haven't
players, McAllister.
They haven't been doing it. They haven't been doing it. That's why.
Coach's tactics, I agree, but you know, motivation it has to come within. The desire and the hunger to win the ball back. If you lose, it has to come from within. None of them have it, Mo.
None of them. We haven't got leaders in our 11 anymore. Virgil is half a leader. He doesn't give it enough. Like, imagine if, like, I'm just referring. Imagine if Henderson was still in his team. He would like take no shit from anyone. You'll be in everyone's ears, telling everyone to run their asses off. There's no workers. They've lost passion. They're all prima donna attitudes. Their attitude is wrong in most of our players, which is.
I think that they feel like they have to do it. Like if you look back at most of our chances yesterday, barring the corner which Gakpo inexplicably clears of Curtis Jones, but barring that, all the chances come about from an individual doing something brilliant and either creating the opportunity or taking a shot. And I think that is a tactical issue because the manager is setting them up in such a way that, you know, that they're all feeling this individual responsibility. And I think if you look at Hugo Ekitike, you see it really acutely because he's one of the only players that can beat a man. And I find it really frustrating because he wanders around the pitch and he'll beat 2 men and then dribble into traffic or the pass won't be good. And you also see it when Rio comes on, this idea that he's going to have to do it all by himself. And I think that's part of why, you know, you get one player running out to press. You get McAllister running up to press the goalkeeper and leaving big holes in midfield. Whatever the tactical instructions are, they're either not clear enough or the players don't believe in them or agree with them because they're a team of individuals. But I don't necessarily think that's on the players.
I think they've checked out. I think if I'm really honest, I don't think they believe in the changes that Slot or the tweaks that Slot's made this season. They are not pressing right from the start because they know come the 40th minute they will have no energy.
Well, every game for the last 10, 15 games I can remember, we give up the first half. We do nothing. We waste 45 minutes of football for what? Like, tell me what? It's just so frustrating. Like, whereas we're used to seeing our team go out from the first minute, wear that shirt with pride, run their socks off, win the second balls. We couldn't even beat a first man in the corner. We lose every second ball. It's so frustrating. Like,
I think. I think yesterday, in various points in the game, Rio played like a 17-year-old because when there was a couple of things that didn't pull off, he stopped.
I'm going to stop you because we've jumped.
All right, okay.
We'll get to Rio. Michael, I want to first ask you. First half, non-entity, absolute zero intention. And then I'll probably let you come in on the Rio because at what point was you screaming down the TV to bring on Rio?
I know what point everyone's going to say.
Yeah, when he stopped Curtis's goal, that goal going in. Who come? Just he's no. So Curtis Jones is in front of him, and Gakpo does that tackle. He has no awareness of the people around him. Now, the slot that started at Liverpool would have hooked him for that. No question. But he just, I don't know. You remember, you'll have seen interviews with King Kenny, happy birthday to him today, when he knew that he couldn't be Liverpool manager anymore, is when he started second guessing his own decisions. I wonder if there's elements of that with Slot, which is why Gakpo seems to stay on for longer than everybody that's watching the game. Don't get me wrong, Slot's a much better manager than I could ever be, but we see this. I don't know what he sees that we don't. Is he second guessing himself? But that's when I would have hooked him. And we needed to bring some kind of urgency. And that's what we think Rio does. And Rio can do that. But I think, yeah, I totally believe that after 2 or 3 runs, Rio suddenly shrunk rather. And there was a couple of passes where instead of going out wide and to take a man on and cover, he came inside. And there was one where he came inside and the pass was short. And suddenly they were away up the other side of the park.
We started the second half better, but the starting base was so shit. It had to be better, right? As like you said, as mostly with all our first halves. We make that change with Rio, but it's a sad indictment of the balance of the squad. And I've been barking on about this from the start. I must give myself a little bit of credit that amongst all the shouting and celebration of our transfer window, I was like, there's an imbalance when you're literally relying in March on a 17-year-old to come on and change, because we'll get on to Chiesa. He's a non-entity. I'm sorry if you're a fan, or anyone else is a fan. He's a non-entity, right? As far as Liverpool Football Club is. He was one of my favorite wingers 5 years ago. I thought he's sensational, but he's a pale shadow of himself. Mo, it's a sad indictment when we've got, I'm going to say something about Mo. I think Mo's done at the highest level. And I'm talking about the highest level. He's still a very good footballer, and he's an absolute, probably top 5 of all time in the Premier League player. But he's finished at this level for what we're aiming to go and be. And Gakpo is just not a Liverpool player. Make of that what interpretation of what a Liverpool player involves yourselves. I'm not here to debate that right now. And then after that, it's a 17-year-old. What does that tell you about the imbalance of our squad and the recruitment and the... I'm going to swear today, sorry Anfield Index if this show gets taken off YouTube, but what does it fucking say about our recruitment and the non-replacement of Luis Diaz?
It's just bad planning, isn't it? From that's the best way to put it down. Like you've got to ask questions of. They must have sat around in their round table, the people upstairs, and built a squad together. You know, we're going to go for this player, and this player. But I can't see them. I can't see a world where they thought, right, we've got Gakpo on the left, and we've got 16-year-old because he was 16 at the time when they would have discussed it. Rio, that's going to be our left-hand side. There's not a world that conversation happened, in my opinion. I think they dropped the bollock when they sold Diaz, thinking they can get a replacement. That replacement never really came through, and they never really found the target. We went into the season short-handed, and then you can say the bad planning from De Gea. We could have given an extra 5 million to get it done early, but we didn't, and we left it late. But look, we can blame transfers, we can blame squad, which is rightly so. We can blame a lot of things, yeah. But I'm going to keep consistent. Me since the Chelsea game, I was slot out. These are still good players on paper. That 11 yesterday are still 11 good players who, on their day, could probably beat any team in this league. But it's too many days we haven't been on their day, and that's how they're set up. All roads lead to Slot, I'm afraid. It really does, in my opinion. And I'm going to keep banging that drum until he goes. I'm literally at the point now where I've counted in my head. We've got 12 games left under Slot until he goes. And that's just assuming we're going to have 2 games against Gala.
So you think if we bring in a new man, everything's fine?
Well, I just don't want to see Slot football. I just don't think. No, I think This brand of football is not suited to Liverpool Football Club and the players we have at Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
He's trying to chase this PSG brand. We haven't got the players to do it. We simply haven't got those technical ability players, those press-resistant players. So the brand he's trying to play is not for Liverpool Football Club. So
I understand your frustration with Slot, but I think it's boring now to keep harping on about Slot every show. So I'm going to ask you to name some players. Lola, I'll start with you, because the players, I'm sorry, but I've been watching this club for probably longer than all of you. Maybe Michael, on a par with Michael. And I'm telling you, we've had worse managers. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, my goodness.
So, and we've battled through. We've come through most adversity with worse managers, right? Some of these players need to take responsibility. I've started on Ryan Gravenberch. I want to now come to McAllister, and I don't know what to do with him. Every week is different. As I think Mo said earlier on, I think you said it, last couple of weeks, you think, okay, he's turned the corner. We're getting the McAllister of last season back. I don't know where he fits into this new dynamic of Liverpool and the formation we're playing. And looking forward, when Isak is back and Wirtz is back, I don't know where McAllister fits in this role. Or do you? If you do, let me know.
I mean, this is where, unfortunately, I know you don't want to talk about the manager, but this is where the problems with the playing staff and the coaching staff kind of intersect, because the manager creates a problem in McAllister, because right now he won't play Curtis Jones. So at the moment, McAllister, no matter how badly he plays, and let's get this right, against Nottingham Forest, he scores the goal, but he's awful that day. There's no threat that he's going to lose his place in the team, and that's thin squad, but it's also the manager has fallen out with Curtis Jones and he doesn't want to play Curtis Jones. And then, moving up the pitch to Cody Gakpo can consistently offer nothing, 0 goals, 0 assists, no threat, doing the same thing over and over again, and he will earn his place. So it's really difficult to say, when you ask yourself what's going on with these players, how would you perform at work if there was no hungry person there who you knew was going to, take your place if you didn't do well? Pressure from above and below, because that's what brings about elite performance. So I don't know. I've never, when I was growing up, we were shit, and someone like Stevie Gerrard he was never going to lose his place. There was no one better than him. But I've never watched a Liverpool side where there's been, about 4 or 5 players that, irrespective of how they perform, that they are going to start the next match. And I think that is the biggest problem, because I don't blame them if they're struggling for motivation, because, I ask again, how would, if you knew that your place wasn't threatened, then how would you get yourself up for it week after week? And I think that's where you see a problem with McAllister and Cody Gakpo. I don't know if you're going to let me talk about him, but boy, do I have some thoughts on him.
Well, you've started, so you may as well carry on then, if you feel that frustrated, because I just felt the most frustrated with Gravenberch and McAllister yesterday. So I shouldn't force the narrative and agenda on you guys. You crack on with Cody Gakpo. Go on.
The thing is, I really like him as a footballer. I like what he offers, and I love. Well, I disagree with you. I think he's a Liverpool player.
When we were linked with him, and in fact, I was one of the first ones that broke that we're signing Gakpo on Friday night, and we did sign him on Monday, because he was destined for United, and I was taking the piss out of my United mates and saying, "You're getting such a crap player." And then lo and behold, he turns out to be a Liverpool player. I think he's very basic in terms of, I always said he's got a cracking shot, no backlift needed, quite a good finisher. And then I'm struggling after that.
But in a team that wins the Premier League, and this was Liverpool last season, a lot of why we won the Premier League was down to Cody Gakpo's 18 goals.
Like, yeah, but he was rotating with Diaz,
exactly,
though.
Exactly.
They shared the load.
100%. So the mistake that's been made is thinking that Cody Gakpo is a player that should start week in, week out for Liverpool. He absolutely shouldn't. He's perfectly capable of being a valuable contributor.
He's a squad player for Liverpool, isn't he? Yeah. That's who he is.
Him and Diaz brought the best out of each other. And there was times last season, I wasn't in the Red Room last season, but I bet you there were times when you were all pretty frustrated by Luis Diaz, who wasn't Luis Diaz is not the savior that we all think of him now this season. We only think that because Gakpo's been terrible. There was times last season where we were talking about upgrading on both. But I just think the issue with Gakpo is, even against West Ham, he gets his goal. The goal was a blocked shot. What I don't understand with him is, yes, the cutting inside is predictable, and Michael's talked about crossing to no one, but help me understand why he shoots when there is a player standing in front of him. How is that the right choice? This isn't standing on my high horse as like, I don't play professional football, but surely that's not the right decision. I don't know. Help me out.
That's personal greed rather than team success, in my opinion. Like, he's thinking about himself rather than letting Curtis just chest it in. Like,
yeah,
Michael, after trying to score a goal, how Curtis? Can I just say, by the way, guys, there's quite a few. As you can tell, I'm more agitated than usual today. I'm not my calm, normal hosting self, because I feel like I want to participate in the vitriol and anger and toxicity.
Good.
Curtis Jones has had 2 chances in a couple of weeks to get us an extra, because we drew that game, 5 points. Because in both instances, I think Curtis should be more aggressive, more decisive, and make sure that ball goes in. The first one where that keeper made amazing save. Who was it, guys? The Burnley game, was it? Flick at the near post.
The Forest game where he has the flick and Ortega saves it.
Yeah, that was Forest.
Yeah,
that one. Sorry. I just think he needs to force himself in these situations. And to me, it kind of sums up Curtis Jones where he's at right now. And obviously we'll go on to the last bit of the game, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. How did we end up conceding the first shot, first goal? Who's to blame? Is there anyone to blame? Or do we sometimes just have to say, great finish, lad?
Well, I think it was a great finish because Ibu was there. If he hadn't dinked it with his right, he wasn't getting there with his left. I don't think that was a free kick. I was disappointed in Virgil.
Yeah, he got bullied. Virgil got bullied.
I think Virgil has that little tiny part of his game where he is so class and so chilled that I think there was a tiny little bit of complacency there, and he wasn't expecting the push, and so when he was grasping at straws, and I think he has 2 or 3 of them a season in the same way that Alisson has 2 or 3 absolutely honking clearances, which we'll go into. But that was a mistake by Virgil for me. But the finish, you can't take anything away from it.
Mo, it looked like Ibu got back and then didn't go for the tackle because he thought he's done his job, and now the player is going to be forced to shoot with his left foot. From that angle, the percentages say Alisson will save it. But I think the forward was brilliantly clever by going with his right foot. It was almost like an old Romario finish. People that are old enough will remember. Romario had a knack of shooting when the defender or keeper least expected. Again, do you blame Ibu, Virgil, Alisson? Could he have been quicker off his line? Something. Where are you at with that? Or the structure of the team? Why are we 2 against 2 in the 80 whatever minute it was?
Well, first and foremost, I blame Virgil. He shouldn't have got out bullied. But if he did feel a push, dive, make it obvious. Yeah, look, you can't. Look, you're the best defender in the world. And I agree with that. And one of our best defenders ever. But you can't aura defend all the time. Sometimes you have to do an actual challenge. Okay,
that's a great phrase, Mo.
Look, Virg, first and foremost, was the first mistake. Okay, shouldn't have never got bullied. Should have put a head in. Should have cleared it. But after that, Ibu moved slightly forward towards Virg instead of holding his line, which that fractional movement cost his recovery pace. Yes, he did recover, but if he just held his line and followed the runner instead, which is, again, like, I understand your first instinct is, I need to help my mate out, but probably a bit of what the word is, I don't know, football awareness probably. Just hang on, hold my line. He's still got work to do, and I've still got a man to cover here. So that's the second mistake. Again, Ibu did well to actually get back, but got surprised. You could put that down by not knowing the striker had that kind of in him in his locker. Tolu is a brand new striker who's only just burst into the scene in the last 4 or 5 games. Maybe he hasn't done enough research that he had it in his locker. But then Alisson, look, we expect so much from Alisson because he's been amazing, and the ones he does let in, we question. But I don't know. I don't blame Alisson for that first one. For the second one, yes. For the first one, I think it could have got dealt with by the 2 centre backs.
Yeah. Lola, we wake up. We actually wake up. We start playing like how we think or we want and we hope. We start playing like weird. It's fucking weird. It's mind-boggling, man. So many expletives for me today. I don't know. Then suddenly we start playing. We start creating chances. And Mo scores. Mo has another weird game.
Mm-hmm.
Mo can't control the ball, trap a ball, make a pass. It was actually quite a good goal. Looking back, some people thought it was a goalkeeping error, possibly, maybe, but he starts you off outside of the post and kind of goes in. Not a bad finish. He gets his goal. And you'd like to think this is it now, right? Like, got out of jail. Now let's just do one of our infamous last-minute goals in our favour. How wrong we fucking were again.
I know, and they keep doing it to us. They keep making a fool of us over and over again. Like, it's agony. You look at those 5 games that we've lost in stoppage time this season. If you give us those 5 points and we'd just drawn those games, you're looking at Liverpool being in the conversation for the title race. And that's just taking out the ones that we've lost, not even mentioning the ones that we've drawn, turning those into wins. It's just baffling and frustrating and painful and embarrassing. But I do think yesterday, I know we talked about Virgil's role in the goal. I think you're entitled to occasionally lose an aerial challenge to a Rockadare. He's an absolute man mountain. Like, Virgil can't win every header. He wins the vast majority of his headers. I think it's on the forwards yesterday. I think it's absolutely on the forwards. If you don't create chances or take chances, you create a situation where you put the rest of your teammates under pressure, where one ball over the top and people overcommitted, the wrong side of the ball means that they score. And I just think it's not, we shouldn't be finger pointing at Ibu or Virgil or even the goalkeeper who've been really responsible for some of the better moments for us this season and generally better performance levels than everyone else. It's on the forwards. You're at the bottom club in the league away from home. Go 2-0 up, go 3-0 up. Take the pressure off your mates. It's back to that individualism thing. They're not playing as a team, as a unit. And that is, again, answers your question of why one ball over the top and you've got a 2-on-2 situation with our centre backs. And I thought that all the way through the game, by the way. When we did try and press, it's the easiest press in the world to play through. I can't tell. Are we in a mid block? Are we in a low block? Are we a high press? What are we trying to do? Trying to keep the ball? Are we trying to play on the counter attack? Nobody knows. But it wouldn't half help the situation. Even in the chaos, even in the flux. I've seen it in other seasons where Liverpool's elite players at the top of the pitch have got us out of trouble. And, I think it's on Mohamed Salah. I think it's on Cody Gakpo. To a certain extent, Hugo Ekitike to be getting us cushions in this game so that incidents like that don't cost us.
Hugo Ekitike is another weird one right now because he literally, to me, guys, he literally looks the most penetrative, the most creative, the one that's going to do something. But he almost feels like he thinks he's the only one capable of doing it right now as well. And I think it's detrimental to the rest of his game. I thought his link-up play was non-existent. I thought his touches were loose. Yeah, he still looked the most dangerous. Michael, how we didn't score from that 4-on-1 or 4-on-2 situation.
When the pass was short and he passed it too late. I don't think he can play 3 games in a week. I don't think he's fit enough. And whereas...
Are we talking about Mo? No,
I'm talking about Ekitike.
Okay.
I don't think it's the stamina for it because we're asking too much of him. And I think in the past when we've had weaker Liverpool teams, the Millies, the Gerrards, the Hendos, or even Salah when he was at his peak, not only did they lead by example, but they brought other people with them. So the point you're making about Ekitike is he thinks he can do it himself, but he's not raising the game of those around him. And because that's what we really wanted. We kind of hoped that Szoboszlai could do that, or the way McAllister was throwing his hands up in the air and looking annoyed that we're taking so long to play it. They're not the individualistic. They're thinking, right, I'm going to go and do it, but they're not pushing each other enough. And it gets back to what Mo was saying about there's not enough leaders. I'm going to take charge of what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make sure they're doing their job or they're doing their job. And considering that Mo's one of the leadership team, you must be contributing all at Melwood and or AXA, because he's not doing it on the pitch. But Ekitike, I think, wants to do it himself, but he's not realising the best way to do it is to bring other people in. And it was just it was poor decision making, because if that ball had been passed early, would have been much better for us, much better. And I think, getting back to the point earlier on about the goal, I'm not entirely sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that long ball from Wolves was due to one of our wingers, rather than going out wide and across, was cutting inside to the edge of the box, and it'd be a poor pass.
Mo, there's only one team pushing. And the more the game was going on, Mo, every little battle and duel we kept losing, I was fearing the worst. I don't know how they were going to score, but I knew they were going to score. Do you know what I mean by that? In terms of they had nothing, yet I knew they're going to score somehow. And that's such a sad indictment on us, because I knew we're going to cock it up. And that's exactly what happened. Yes, Szoboszlai, the most blatant foul you're ever likely to see, right? It's a blatant foul on him in the build-up. But after that, Mo, I'll let you have the pleasure of describing what I summed up as a description. If you could show a goal that depicts Liverpool's season, it was that goal.
Well, their winner. Yeah, just what can you say? There's another 96th minute goal we've conceded. What, like Lola said, if we just count those games alone, we're challenging or we're up there, you know. It was just an error of mistakes. Personally, I pinpoint it on Curtis myself. A lot of people say Ali, a lot of people say a combination of things, but he had it in the corner. You send it at the line, put a boot through it.
Yeah, but that's, I think, again, your favorite topic, slot.
Yeah,
because,
this is the
because
thing.
He's put him at right back. And Curtis Jones, what we know as Curtis Jones is he loves holding onto the ball, keeping the ball in play, keeping possession. He doesn't think like a fullback. A fullback automatically either hits it down the line or tries to get a throw in our way, deflects off the keeper of their throw in. Yeah, he has none of that thought. If you notice, watch it again.
Territory, you know, that's what a fullback
he has none of that in his head. He's
Yeah.
either looking for a pass infield, which he thinks is going to be dangerous, or the second best option in his head is give it to Alisson, who he thinks may probably play out to Virgil and off to Robertson again, and we build up. So I just think Curtis, play the ball down the line like you say. But guys, Alisson, I love Alisson. The best goalkeeper in my lifetime I've ever seen. He's a monster. I'm going to ask questions about Alisson as well, guys, because when your goalkeeper can't kick anymore, in this league, it's a massive issue. Mo, I'll stay with you. He struggles to kick the ball, and it's not the first time. I've seen it in the last 12 months.
Yeah, he's had a few. I mean, even the last game when he did that missed kick to Bowen. And Bowen, I mean, we can go we don't have to go way back. We can go as far as back as last game, you know? And look, the same with Mo, I guess. At their age, there's always
hard choices, hard changes.
Well, no, not with Alisson. No, I will still keep with Alisson. Okay, I just think a goalkeeper's longevity lasts longer than an outfield player's longevity. With Alisson, he's always had historical problems with hamstrings and and things like this, hasn't he? You know, he's always had injury. When he's injured, it's normally his hamstring or something to do with his legs.
But isn't that vital for a footballer, Mo? I'm still,
no, because he still produces worldwide performances. I mean, if you tell me we've got Alisson for the next 2 years, I don't think any Liverpool fan would be unhappy with that. They'll still pick Alisson ahead of Mamardashvili, in my opinion, because that's what he offers you. Yes, he could be declining on his kicking strength, and probably you can argue his distribution as well. But distribution, you can probably wipe that out now because we always play short, try 4 or 5 passes, and then boot it long anyway. So, very rarely have I seen a counter-attack where Alisson's involved. Mainly at home games, very rarely you see it at away games. But yeah, I would still keep faith with Alisson. But what I was trying to say is he's getting old. There's going to be, a natural decline.
Mike, I'm in agreement with this one, man, because we've spoken about Mo and, the toxicity and some of the name calling towards Mo is embarrassing. I'm not even going to address that. Like, you're actually embarrassing if you're turning against Mo. But it's sad to see some of our legends and heroes in this situation. And like Mike says, everyone loves Alisson, but he can't kick anymore. Sell him before he becomes next year's Mo. And I would hate to see our legends go out like the way
do you think he's only just seriously, guys, do you think it's time to sell Alisson in your opinion?
No. I think if you look back in every season he's played for us, you will pick at least 2 times, at least twice he's done exactly the same.
Yeah.
That last night, I don't see that as an example of his decline, because he's done that at least twice a season, every season he's played.
Yeah,
I think that that kick shows he was not expecting that.
Yeah, it was a bad pass.
He was not set up for that in any kind of way. And there was another situation not long before that when Rio was in the edge of our box and they were doing pretty little triangles when we were hanging on, which gets back into the point that Grizz made about Curtis isn't expecting. He's forgetting that he's on the edge of the box in the last couple of minutes, and we're not wanting to lose. He thinks he's in the middle of the park, and what he's trying to do is play football rather than kicking it into row Z because nobody can score from there. I think Alisson's kick, it was poor, but if you look back in his season, there'll be at least 2 or 3 times he's done that.
I don't know how to end this. It was a calamity. We know that Chelsea have won at Villa 3-1 up. That's the worst result we could have had. Now we await Man United winner to compound our misery. People are telling us Fulham and West Ham score. Look, with the greatest of respect, Helio, honestly, I couldn't give 2 shits, mate. But thank you for trying to keep me informed. Honestly,
before we get too depressed about Chelsea, it's worth considering that Villa plummeting out of the top 5 would be the thing. I mean, look, it's diabolical that we have to be thinking about these things, but they've been on a proper downward trajectory for a good couple of months, and their underlying numbers are bad. So, I wouldn't want to have to go there and win, but I think they might end up making our lives a bit easier by just.
No, I get you trying to give us a bit of dose of optimism, but then I'm going to tell you, have you seen our last 5-6 fixtures? They're horrific.
It's in our hands.
We will lose at least 2 of them. I'm telling you.
I don't think we'll lose at home to Chelsea. I think we'll beat Chelsea at home.
I'd be more worried about the teams behind us. Straight up.
No, but the way we're playing at the moment, to be level in points with Chelsea after that game yesterday and within 3 of Villa, you would how can we play as badly as that and still be within 3 points of 4th? Yeah, I'll take that right now. I'm like,
the issue is every time a bit of space has opened up. Like, you look at when we played Leeds at home, we had the chance to go 5 points clear last night, whatever, like that. This Liverpool side are going to keep us guessing until right at the end. But I think the main thing to remember, this is my positive note to end on, is Villa are shit, Chelsea are shit, United are shit. So it's a battle of the shit.
Along the bottom, Lola.
This is not a title race.
It's literally a case of the top, from 3rd to 5th will be who's the least shit.
Yes.
Yes.
we haven't got much time to look forward to the cup game, and maybe that's a sign. Maybe because we're not looking forward to it. Or are you, Michael? New competition, our last or second, I guess, if people really think we're going to win the Champions League, tilt our trophy. Do you care about it? Do you want to put out a strong team? Do you have one eye on Galatasaray? Where you at?
No, he has to go out with a strong team. I think maybe the keeper will be the only change, or maybe Robo will come in. But I think 2-0 win. I think there's an element of, because Liverpool were so poor yesterday, and it's maybe just that romanticism about being a Liverpool fan, is, see, for personal pride, Liverpool players have to turn up. And I think they will. I think 2-0 win for Liverpool. I think it'll be watch it. Ask me again next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. Mo, do you care about it? Lineup has to be strong. Any changes? One on Galatasaray, same point, same questions.
Yeah, of course I care about it. It's Liverpool Football Club. I care about every game we play. And it's a trophy at the end of the day. But would the lineup change? He's going to pick the same lineup, let's be honest. Nothing's going to change. I don't see him.
No, I mean, I'm surprised you guys think that. And Michael and Mo, I'll get to that one. I think there's going to be at least 3 changes. At least.
I think he's going to try and go for his. I think the position he's in, if he loses twice in a week to Wolves, bottom side, gets knocked out of a competition that we can potentially win, I think that he's scared of. So he's going to play his strongest side, and he's going to send his side out not to lose, like we always get set up at the moment, and try and nick a set piece or a moment of magic, his favourite sentence. That's what's going to happen. I agree with Michael. For some reason, I think we are going to win. And we're just going to revert back to dross again in the next Premier League game. We're just going to go up and down like our season has been.
I'm not saying we'll win like easily or comfortably, because that's not how we play. But I think we'll win. I think we have. Yeah.
Point, same questions.
I think Rio will play. I think it's just that thing. The league is our bread and butter. The race for Champions League is what it is. I know the FA Cup was a different sort of status back in the day, and I would love to win a trophy. But I think this is the moment where Rio gets his start. And I think there were elements of his performance last night that were immature, but you're never going to know how he's going to get on starting until you try it. So I think we'll see Rio. I think we might see Nioni. Because he's going to have to freshen it up in places, and we really don't have that many options. And you'll probably see Chiesa, who'll run around.
I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry,
I think there's a minimum of 4 changes. These are going to be the name. Rio, Robo, Jones, Gomez will almost certainly start, and then Chiesa and Nioni have a very good chance of starting.
Mamardashvili, he might given Alisson's load in terms of games in a week, whether he can play more than 2 games in a week. And I do agree, actually, that the kicking issue has become more prominent since the issues with the hamstrings. It looks like he's worried about pulling a muscle.
I think it's a major issue. I know Mo and Michael played it down and love him, and I love him as much as you guys. Honestly, I do. I love him as much as you guys. Alisson is our hero, our legend. Kicking is a major issue, man. And if we got anything about us, our team behind the team and coaches will have a stern look at that. Again, we have to make some cold-hearted decisions this summer. And one of the most cold-hearted decisions could be about what we do with Alisson.
No, I think 1 more year for Alisson.
I'm just saying, the thing is, probably the most likely is 1 more year. I grew up watching Ferguson build team after team after team and make the most craziest decisions at the time. You think to yourself, what's he doing getting rid of Stam, Kanchelskis, Keane, Lee Sharp, going back. All these players he got rid of just like that after the won doubles, trebles, whatever they won for him. He didn't care. We need to make some cold-hearted decisions. And I agree that slot will be one of the main decisions, but I'm not letting the players get away with this season as well. I think there needs to be a cold, hard look at us in the summer. Mo, you want to come in before we end it?
Just quickly, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Rio start on Friday. Now, let me say why. I got home last night after the game, and I always watch highlights and all that. And I watched the Steven Gerrard interview, the TNT one. I don't know if anyone's seen it.
Yeah.
And he's basically angry. He's basically what every Liverpool fan is. And he's indirectly called Gakpo rubbish. And he's saying Rio's got to start. He has to start Friday. Slot could be that arrogant in his own coaching methods and his own way, thinking I'm not gonna give in to someone like Steven Gerrard, and I'm gonna not play Rio, even though it's the most obvious change to do. Rio has to play. This is a cup game, and it's a good.
I don't think into his thinking. Yeah, I don't think that's got nothing.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. All I'm saying for that.
It's got nothing to do with Steven Gerrard. It's got nothing to do with Steven Gerrard, Mo. That's just
He doesn't want to play Rio. And the only way almost to justify that is to start him and it not work. And he'd rather do that in a cup game than a league game. So, I mean, I hope Rio goes out there and proves him wrong. But I think...
I hope he starts. That's what I'm saying. I hope he starts. But I will just laugh if he doesn't, you know?
Nah,
I'll cry.
Sam says, Grizz, drink more chai, calmer. Yeah, I think I need to drink some more tea. I'm so sorry for being ratty today. Fasting. Mo will tell you as you get older, it's hard. The harder it gets. Yeah. Then Liverpool, then the weather. Can you imagine what kind of month I'm going through right now?
The weather was nice today where I was.
Mate, the temperature dipped after.
It was lovely today.
It was lovely in the daytime, but about 5-6 p.m. the temperature went boom like that, just like that, and forced me to put this hat on. But people, as I said, I can't thank you guys enough. You guys have been amazing. You've cheered me up a little bit. Sorry for being ratty, Michael.
Penalty to Newcastle.
No, penalty to Newcastle. Some good news, but hey, Chelsea. I wanted Chelsea to drop points as well. And let's go over and watch Newcastle. Hopefully, begging Newcastle for a point. Newcastle sent off, but now Penn. Newcastle got a player sent off.
I haven't seen the full
unbelievable.
Jacob Ramsey.
So they're down to 10 men. Unbelievable luck we're having. But anyway, people, this has been your Red Room. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully no one butts in for the last 10 seconds. Shh, but all of you before you butt in. Peace, love, and tranquility to all. Take care. Bye-bye.